What if Anakin was saved by Venom in Revenge of the Sith? Let's explore the depths of this scenario in the video.
His injuries are too severe, my lord. I don't think he'll survive the journey.
Do what you must, even if it means using the specimen.
The words hang heavily over Anakin, but he can barely make sense of all of them, as all he can focus on is the constant pain across his body. He cannot even breathe without feeling a surge of agony. If he could speak, he would have told them to let him die. Anything to relieve the pain. With great effort, Anakin opens his eyes and sees through blurry vision as a pair of clones reach into a canister. Dark spots form in his vision as his body grows heavy. He lays there and could have sworn that one of those spots was making its way towards him as the clone upends the canister on his chest. Before he realizes what's going on, the symbiote creeps across his fallen form and begins attaching itself to him. The shadowy creature is like tar and clings onto him. Yet rather than fight it, Anakin feels a surge of strength flow through him. The heat burning across his body vanishes in an instant, and when he tries to stand, he's surprised to feel his legs underneath him, lifting him taller than ever before. The heat around him is still there, pricking him like 1,000 needles, but it's not an immediate threat. And then the darkness overtakes him as the ooze surrounds him. But he can still hear. First he hears the cries of alarm from the clones, followed by blaster fire. Nothing seems to touch him as his ears prick to strangled cries, followed by a sound similar to a melon being split open. And then he feels something in his throat, as if being fed. Somewhere in the distance, he hears Palpatine.
Stop him, before he gets to my ship.
When the ooze dissipates, and Anakin finally regains his vision, he's surprised to see himself on board the cockpit of Palpatine's starship. Suddenly, the ooze around him forms a dark tendril from his chest and reveals the grinning face of Venom.
It's been a while since I've had a host this powerful, or this angry.
What are you?
I am Venom, and it seems like we are in a similar boat. You are keeping me alive, and I am keeping you alive.
What are you talking about? Venom chuckles and closes his eyes. Suddenly, Anakin feels the memories forcing themselves into his mind. It's as if Venom was overriding his body, showing him the last few hours. His battle with Obi-Wan, his defeat, and the fire. That seems to send both of them shuddering. As the memories end, Anakin slumps up against the controls and glares at Venom. So what is it that you want?
To feed. Cooperate, and you might survive.
Are you trying to scare me? I'm a dead man, and I'm guessing if I die, so are you. Venom growls at him, but Anakin flashes a smile. He feels a strange kinship with this creature. It goes beyond just their bodies being linked, but also as if their connection to the Force is now tied together. Calm down. I didn't say I wouldn't help. The fact is, there are a few people I know who you can feed on. But first, we need to visit someone. Venom blinks again and nods.
Your wife, then, is she someone to eat?
No, she's not. I love her.
Your last memories suggest otherwise.
Anakin glares at the creature, warning him to stop talking, but activates the coordinates to the medical center they checked into days before. When they arrive, he tries to find her ship, but sees no sign of her. Frowning, Anakin steps out of his starfighter and hurries to investigate. He cannot move without his Venom form, so he lumbers inside, smashing through the doors. All around him, Anakin sees medical droids, startled by his appearance. stumbling back and trying to get away from him. Even in their optics, Anakin swore he could have seen fear. But as he approaches the room, a dread forms in the pit of his stomach. How does he explain this to Padme? How will she react when she sees him? All these questions and more race through his mind as he barrels into the room. But as he looks around, he finds nothing. There is no sign of Padme or his children. The bed doesn't even look like it's been used. The only one there is a medical droid. Anakin quickly snatches the droid by the neck and lifts it up.
Where is she? The woman who is staying here.
The senator is no longer here.
I can see that. Where did she go? Did someone take her? Take me to her.
Sir, I'm afraid you don't understand. She is no longer with us. The senator passed away earlier today. We have just finished cleaning up the room.
How did she die?
How did she die?
Through childbirth. Although she was healthy, it was as if she had lost the will to fight. She passed away shortly after giving birth to her children. A Jedi took them with him.
A primal snarl rips through Anakin's throat. All the anger, doubt, and fear he's built up comes pouring out in that rage, sending a shockwave that rattles the room and shatters the windows. Venom only seems to amplify that anger, feeding into it like he would a normal meal.
Please, sir, you are creating a disturbance.
Anakin hurls the droid across the room and sends it slamming against the wall. He snarls yet again and smashes through the wall. All around him, the droids are going wild as they try to activate security protocol. But destruction is the only thing on Anakin's mind. He barrels through the hospital, ripping and tearing through everything unfortunate enough to get in his way. Droids, machines, and more fall under the claws and blades of Venom, who has been overloaded with anger.
Wow, that was brutal, even for me.
Get used to it. This is just the beginning. There are many people who wronged me.
I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship.
By the time the clone forces arrive hours later, the hospital is in complete ruins, and there's not a soul who can tell them what happened. But Palpatine knows, and he surveys the wreckage. He can't help but admire the power, and is determined to take it for himself. For the next few years, Palpatine continues to search for Venom, trying to track it down and claim its power for himself. But the creature that once was Anakin Skywalker seems to disappear from the face of the galaxy. That is until the attacks begin to surface. They appear all across the galaxy. Imperial outposts are raided, but nothing of value is stolen. Instead, the attacks are moves of pure destruction, intent on simply killing everyone there. It isn't just stormtroopers either. High-ranking Imperial officers, army personnel, and even the mighty Inquisitors all fall victim to whatever attacked them. Aside from that, reports also surface from Inquisitors of Jedi turning up dead. Some of them fighting for the rebels, and others were hiding or believed dead. It doesn't matter where they are, in cities or deep in the Outer Rim. For Anakin, this is all revenge for the wrongs inflicted upon him. He believes the Jedi were the ones who took Padme from him and stole his children. Meanwhile, he blames the Empire for turning him into this monster. Because of that, he spends years as a wanderer, isolated save for his new companion, Venom. The two focus on hunting down those Anakin deemed responsible for ruining his life. Over time, Anakin becomes increasingly mad from isolation and the constant energies of the dark side hovering over him. Rather than fight it, Anakin embraces it as his true nature and allows Venom to revel in destruction. His only rule is that Venom can only harm those Anakin deems responsible. Although they started as a partnership of convenience, Anakin and Venom quickly develop a deep bond in the years they spend together, with the symbiote being perhaps the one attachment Anakin still clings to. Meanwhile, Venom learns more about his host as he studies his memories. He sees the life that led Anakin down this path of darkness. The two remain constantly on the move, avoiding the Empire and leaving any tracker or bounty hunter they send against him dead. Instead, the Chancellor must change tactics to try and find him. The sound of falling debris echoes through the halls of the Imperial base. Ahsoka Tano leads a small team of rebels past the ruined walls and through the wreckage.
No blaster marks, no sign of any firefight. It's like something just tore through here, but didn't take anything.
This isn't the first time. The other base we've lost was just like this. No survivors, no stolen supplies, just devastation. It's like a wild animal rampaged through them.
The group moves cautiously, their weapons drawn. They pass by a control room where Ahsoka notices something out of place. A small holodisk resting atop a console, untouched by the destruction.
This doesn't belong here.
She activates the disk, and a blue-tinted hologram of Emperor Palpatine flickers to life. His usually confident demeanor is marred by a hint of desperation.
Help me, Commander Tano. You're my only hope.
The Emperor asking for help? This has to be a trap, right?
I don't think so.
That which caused the destruction on this base is far worse than any threat you pose. I am sure you've faced similar attacks. It strikes without warning, leaving nothing but ruin in its wake. You may believe me to be your enemy, but if we do not unite against this common threat, there will be nothing left to fight for. I assure you, a meeting is in our best interests. Follow the coordinates on this holodisk.
Whatever it is, it's scaring him. And anything that scares Palpatine is worth investigating. We need to get back to the fleet. The Alliance needs to see this.
When they present this information to the rebel leaders, many of them are understandably skeptical, believing that this might merely be an Imperial plot to lure them out. However, Ahsoka is less certain and insists they investigate, pointing out that the same creature attacked their bases and is their enemy too. She eventually comes up with a compromise, agreeing to go alone to determine the validity of these claims. Ahsoka follows the coordinates to a desolate moon. She lands her ship on a ruined base, just like the others. This time, there is someone in the hangar. From one of the shuttles, Palpatine steps out and spreads his arms.
You've grown since I last saw you.
Enough talk. You wanted to make a deal. Let's get it over with.
So blunt. Just like your master. Yes. I know this creature is a threat to you, so perhaps our best course of action is to hunt it down together.
That's after you tell me what it is. I have a feeling you know more than you're letting on.
Very well. The creature is called a symbiote. It was created by the Sith long ago to create the ultimate soldier. But something must have gone wrong with the experiment because the records have been wiped clean. I managed to retrieve one specimen a long time ago, but it escaped, and I've been trying to find it since.
So all of this destruction is your doing, because you wanted some super soldier. Give me one good reason I should bother helping you now.
Trying to threaten me? You Jedi are too honorable for that. You will help me because I know you care too much about innocents to leave them to suffer.
Ahsoka bites her lip. Despite her desire to deny it, she can't, and simply nods her head. The two agree that Ahsoka will be given immunity across all worlds for her search, and the aid of local Imperial forces. Palpatine even goes as far as to make a public announcement. However, he also tasks Ahsoka with tracking down Obi-Wan Kenobi to help them. With Ahsoka and the Empire working together, they send probe droids out to search for Obi-Wan. They scour the galaxy, searching for him until they track him down to Tatooine. The twin sons of Tatooine beat down on Ahsoka as she lands in an Imperial shuttle outside the secluded hut. The probes had scoured the planet and tracked down Obi-Wan to this place. As she descends, she's accompanied by a contingency of stormtroopers. As she approaches the door, the place appears secluded. No doubt Obi-Wan is hiding from them.
Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan. Master Kenobi. I must speak with you.
The door creaks open, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, older and more haggard than when they last met, steps out. He steps out cautiously, one hand slipping into his robe as he prepares to draw his lightsaber.
Ahsoka, what are you doing? With them?
He appears suspicious as he eyes the stormtroopers warily. The soldiers all keep their blasters ready just in case, but Ahsoka steps between them and shakes her head.
I'm sorry for the intrusion, Master. But this is important. There's a threat. Something that even Palpatine fears. We need your help. It's already killed dozens of Jedi.
I've heard of such rumors, but I did not think too much about them. I assumed it was Imperial propaganda trying to scare me out of hiding.
Oh, I assure you it's quite real. This thing. It's called Venom. It's already destroyed several Imperial bases, hunted down Jedi, and slaughtered countless rebels. It's unlike anything we've ever faced. We need to work together to stop it.
Obi-Wan considers her words, his gaze drifting to the stormtroopers who stand nearby, but then looks towards Ahsoka and places a hand on her shoulder. After a moment of contemplation, he sighs and nods.
If this threat is as dire as you say, then I have no choice. I will join you.
The group quickly returns to their shuttle, which takes them to a light cruiser above. There they begin to plan their next move. Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, along with the intelligence officers from the Empire, map out the recent attacks, trying to find a pattern for them. So far, it seems as though the attacks are random, taking place entire systems apart, which raises the question of how Anakin can travel that far. While they discuss these questions, one of the bridge crew reports picking up a starfighter on their scanners. However, it appears abandoned. They gather around the crewman's station, where he shows the starship which is floating just above them. The ship sports deep claw marks, and its hatch was pulled open. Obi-Wan's brow furrows when the ship's comlink roars to life, and the sound of screams and blaster fire roar into their ears.
Hello? Is anyone there? We're under attack. Something got through the hull.
Say again? What's happening? Who's attacking you?
The response is a sickening slurping sound as tentacles lash out at the guards.
I don't know. Sit. Nothing worth throwing at them seems to slow it down.
The transmission is cut off, leaving the group to stare at one another. The communications officer tries to contact other units, but many are completely silent, and others give similar grim reports. Suddenly, the bridge's blast doors shudder as a fist slams against it, leaving a visible dent. Moments later, another fist slams into it, and then another, until the door begins to cave in. A hand reaches out from the opening and begins prying it open. With a final kick, it smashes the door open, sending its shattered pieces flying across the bridge and taking any unfortunate crew member not fast enough to dive for cover with it. But the figure that emerges is something that no one expects. It's a humanoid, covered head to toe in mismatched armor, all of it battle damaged and dented. Breathing filters have been added to his helmet, obscuring his face entirely, while an array of weapons are strapped to his body.
Anakin.
Glad to see you haven't forgotten me.
He pulls a blaster out with one hand and begins firing on the crewmen. His shots take down the unsuspecting Imperials before many can even pull out their blasters. Those who do manage to get their weapons return fire, but Anakin then draws an Inquisitor's lightsaber and begins blocking their attacks. He lets out an inhuman snarl and rushes at them, lightsaber in hand. The Imperial soldiers who get in his way are easy prey as he cuts them down with ease.
What are you?
We are Venom.
His body begins to change. His black goo blossoms from his chest and begins to surround him. sliding over his body until it forms a hulking form that towers above any of them. Venom opens his mouth to reveal a row of jagged teeth as his hands lash out, turning into a wave of tentacles that sweep through anyone and anything in the room. They make their way over to the Jedi, forcing Ahsoka and Obi-Wan to stand back to back as they slash through the oncoming tentacles. Their lightsabers fare better against Venom than blasters, as he suddenly howls in pain while the stumps begin to steam. He pulls them back and then rushes at them, his hands turning into blades as he lunges at them. He brings one down where Obi-Wan is, but the Jedi moves out of the way, and the symbiote weapon instead rips a hole through the floor.
Hold still, Obi-Wan.
How do you know who I am?
Of course I know you. You're the asshole who left my best friend to die.
Obi-Wan freezes, staring up at the hulking symbiote, who pulls back for another attack. Despite that, he stares at the creature as it smashes its fist down. At the last moment, Ahsoka comes up and blocks his attack, driving her lightsaber up against his fist and causing him to leap back.
You little brat.
He swings his other hand, turning it into an axe, but Ahsoka leaps back. Venom snarls and unleashes another mass of tentacles again, leaving the young Jedi having to weave and dodge the attacks, until the last one manages to strike her and sends Ahsoka stumbling back. Obi-Wan tries to protect her, but Venom looms over them. Half his face melts away, revealing the burnt face of Anakin.
Hello there, Master.
He snatches Obi-Wan by the waist, the black mass starting to slither around him. Grunting, the old Jedi holds up his lightsaber and prepares to strike him. Before he can finish the Jedi off, though, a powerful shriek rips through the air, sending the machines rattling and the trio covering their ears. Venom is hit hardest, trying to cover his ears as he's forced to retract his form and leap from Anakin's body. The former Jedi collapses, unconscious, as his helmet rolls away. From the shadows, Emperor Palpatine emerges, his eyes glowing with malevolent satisfaction. The source of the shriek.
You have served your purpose well, my dear friends.
Venom hisses and lunges at Palpatine, forming a writhing mass of rage.
Stay away from my Jedi.
But Palpatine is ready. With a wave of his hand, he catches the symbiote midair using the Force and throws it into a containment vessel. The vessel seals with a hiss, trapping Venom within.
A powerful weapon indeed. One that will serve me well.
Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, still recovering from the attack, exchange worried glances as they stare at the Emperor.
You were useful bait. I knew you were the only thing that could lure this creature from hiding. Don't worry, I shall keep up my end of the bargain, and you shall not have to stand trial for your crimes.
He snaps his fingers, and the stormtroopers who have been standing by now turn their weapons on Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. Without a word, Palpatine turns and exits the shuttle, leaving the stormtroopers to carry out his orders. Ahsoka and Obi-Wan ignite their lightsabers. Hours later, Anakin slowly regains consciousness, blinking against the harsh light of the medical bay. His vision clears to reveal Ahsoka and Obi-Wan standing nearby, their expressions a mix of relief and concern.
What happened?
Palpatine had us trapped. He used us to draw you out. Then when he got what he wanted, he tried to destroy us.
That seems like something he'd do.
We barely made it out before the ship self-destructed. Palpatine has the symbiote now. We're in more danger than ever.
Anakin jumps to his feet and pats his chest to feel the familiar presence of his friend. But there is nothing. Venom is gone. His fingers tighten into a fist as he smashes it against a table.
Anakin, listen to me. The symbiote isn't controlling you anymore. You're free of it.
But Anakin's expression hardens as he shakes his head. His eyes lock onto hers, with an intensity that makes Ahsoka step back.
You fool. Venom was never controlling me, Ahsoka. We were partners.
Ahsoka and Obi-Wan stare at him in shock, their jaws dropping open as they share a silent realization.
Partners?
Anakin, that creature was corrupting you.
No, Obi-Wan. Venom didn't corrupt me. It gave me power and strength when I needed it most. He kept me alive until I could build this suit. Since then, we've helped each other. I kept him fed, and he helped me find my enemies.
You allowed that creature to possess you willingly? How could you do such a thing? You turned your back on all the teachings of the Jedi.
I did it because unlike the Jedi, unlike you, Venom never abandoned me.
I never abandoned you, Anakin. You were a hero once. You fought for justice, for the light. Venom may have given you power, but it's not who you are.
Anakin's expression falters as he looks over the pair. But then his heart hardens. Venom is a part of me now. And if we're going after Palpatine, I intend to rescue him.
I will not allow that symbiote or any others to escape.
Then you're free to get off my ship right now. Because I am. Ahsoka places a hand on Obi-Wan's arm, stopping him. She looks at Anakin, her expression pained as she struggles to understand what she's just heard.
We may not agree on this, Anakin, but right now our priority is stopping Palpatine. We'll deal with everything else when the time comes.
Anakin nods, appreciating Ahsoka's attempt to find common ground. Obi-Wan reluctantly agrees, knowing that they cannot afford to be divided in their fight against the Emperor.
Palpatine is a real threat. We need to focus on bringing him down. Whatever it takes.
Fine. One final fight, and then we're done. Forever. I might know where they are. The dark, rocky surface of an asteroid looms, its atmosphere thick with symbiotes as they writhe and squirm around. They quickly scatter as Palpatine lands his shuttle and approaches them. His yellow eyes scan the area, taking in the fleeing symbiotes with a cruel smile. Slowly, the symbiotes begin to emerge from the shadows, their slithering forms oozing towards him with sinister intent. They swarm, eager to overwhelm the intruder. Palpatine raises his hands, and with a snarl, unleashes a torrent of Force lightning. The electric bolts arc across the writhing mass, sending the symbiotes screeching and recoiling in pain.
You dare challenge me? I am your master now.
The symbiotes pause, uncertain as Palpatine lowers his hands, his voice dripping with malevolence.
I offer you power, purpose, and a return to glory as the instruments of the Sith. I know what you want. Hosts and food. I'll give you both if you join me as an army for my new Sith Empire.
The symbiotes hiss and slither, considering his offer. Some begin to slither closer.
But only if you obey me. And I will bond with the strongest among you, the one who can harness my power.
From the mass of symbiotes, one emerges, larger and more ferocious than the rest. Its blood-red form ripples with energy as it rises above the others, its eyes burning with savage hunger.
I am Carnage, the strongest of us all. Do you seek to bond with me, Sith? Prove your worth.
Palpatine smirks, unfazed by the challenge. He extends his hand towards Carnage, the dark energy between them crackling with malevolent intent. Just as they are about to bond, the sound of engines roaring interrupts the moment. Anakin's ship swoops down from the sky, its blaster cannons blazing and tearing deep craters into the ground, burning through hordes of symbiotes, forcing those who aren't vaporized to scatter in all directions, including Carnage.
Fool! Get back here!
Now's our chance. We can't let Palpatine bond with that thing.
The ship hovers above the battlefield, its guns still firing. Obi-Wan leaps out of the ship, his lightsaber ignited as he lands in front of Carnage.
You will not have him, monster.
Then I'll have you as my meal.
Carnage roars and charges at Obi-Wan, his red tendrils whipping out like blades. Obi-Wan parries the attack and slides underneath, scoring a strike on Carnage's side. The creature snarls in pain, feeling the lightsaber burning into his ooze. Meanwhile, Ahsoka continues strafing the battlefield from above, keeping the other symbiotes at bay. Anakin lands some distance away, making his way towards Palpatine, who still has the containment vessel. He reaches for his lightsaber and glares at him under his helmet.
You have something that belongs to me.
He was never yours. Venom belongs to me.
Their lightsabers clash in a violent dance of light that illuminates the grim surface. The symbiotes all gather around to watch the exchange as the two Sith engage in their dance of death. Anakin moves swiftly, sliding and dodging across the rocks as Palpatine lunges at him. The older Sith Lord tries to search for him until Anakin leaps out and kicks him across the face. Palpatine staggers, but unleashes another barrage of lightning. He raises his lightsaber at the last second and blocks the attack. As the lightning starts to push him back, Anakin grits his teeth. With his other hand, he pulls out his blasters and hits him in the leg. Palpatine staggers back and falls into the dirt. But a sound takes both their attention away. Obi-Wan is not so lucky, as Carnage throws the Jedi aside with a brutal swap. Seizing the opportunity, Palpatine throws Anakin back with the Force and rushes towards him. Turning his head, Carnage disappears and leaps up onto Palpatine. The Emperor's body twists and contorts as the dark power surges through him. His form becomes monstrous, his eyes glowing with a hellish red light. The ground trembles as the battle rages on. Anakin's attention is elsewhere. He turns to the containment vessel that Palpatine dropped earlier and begins to pry it open. Inside, Venom rips free and leaps back upon Anakin.
Welcome back, old friend.
Good to be back.
Anakin turns towards Palpatine's shuttle, which remains undamaged, and begins to make his way towards it. However, he turns and sees Obi-Wan and Carnage in their duel. The Jedi ducks under each attack, occasionally lashing out with his lightsaber. Each attack only angers Carnage as his body sizzles and heats up from the lightsaber. It manages to keep Carnage back, but only for a little while as he slowly closes in on Obi-Wan.
We can't leave them, Anakin. We have to help.
Since when do you care about helping anyone?
Venom's voice softens, carrying a note of understanding.
I don't, but I know you do.
Maybe once.
He tries to take another step to leave, but Venom holds him back and shivers. Anakin's body shakes as the two battle for control.
If you don't care about them at all, then you can watch that without any problem.
On cue, a deafening explosion shakes the ground. Anakin looks to see the symbiotes crawling all over his ship, ripping apart the engines, which burst into flames as it plummets to the ground. Without a second thought, Anakin leaps into the air, propelled by Venom's strength. He reaches the ship in the nick of time. The nearest symbiotes try to grab him, but he sweeps through them and snarls. Ripping open the cockpit, Anakin grabs Ahsoka and shields her from the explosion before leaping down.
Thanks, Anakin.
I did most of the work.
Right. Thank you, Venom.
You're welcome. Now, let's finish this asshole.
Carnage, now fully bonded, is overwhelming Obi-Wan in a brutal one-sided duel. The older Jedi struggles to keep up against their relentless barrage. Carnage seems implacable, his attacks growing faster and faster while Obi-Wan struggles to keep up. Eventually, one fist strikes him across the stomach and sends him stumbling aside.
He's too powerful.
Carnage raises an axe-like blade and brings it down, before abruptly screaming in pain as Anakin ignites his lightsaber and lets it sear through his attack.
Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, hold off the remaining symbiotes. I'll deal with him. You've made a mistake, Palpatine. You should have stayed dead.
The battlefield is a chaotic inferno, the remnants of Ahsoka's ship burning brightly in the background, helping the two Jedi as they drive the symbiotes back. But the true battle is between Venom and Carnage. The red symbiote's twisted form pulses with raw power, its tendrils lashing out like living weapons. Anakin's blackened form mirrors his opponent's, his muscles tense and coiled, ready for the final strike.
You think you can defeat me, Skywalker?
I am the Lord of the Sith.
You were never unstoppable, Palpatine. Just a parasite like the rest of them.
Carnage lunges at Anakin, his tendrils slashing through the air with terrifying speed. However, Venom can meet these attacks in a frenzy of motion. All around them, their tendrils form a web of black and red, allowing the two to bounce and lash out at one another. The ground beneath them cracks and smolders as their powers clash. Anakin's mind focuses solely on Carnage as he lashes out with his tendrils, sending it flying towards Carnage, but the symbiote catches it midair and throws him over his shoulder towards the burning ship. The heat is intense, the flames licking at Anakin's skin through the suit, singeing Venom and causing him to howl in pain. Carnage presses forward, pinning Anakin against the fiery wreckage. Venom's form begins to writhe as it shivers and screams, starting to melt away.
Burn, Skywalker. Burn as the galaxy will under my rule. Venom, get out of here. I'm not leaving you, my friend. You burned alone once. So this time, let's burn together.
With renewed vigor, Anakin presses the attack. He swings the burning pole, each strike driving Carnage further back. The red symbiote howls in fury as the flames singe his form, his tendrils flailing wildly in an attempt to fend off the assault. Anakin doesn't let up. He slashes at Carnage and leaps back when Carnage swipes at him with his axe blade. Gripping the pole, he hurls it right at his opponent, running him directly through the stomach. As Carnage's remains fall away, Venom crushes him under his foot and lifts Palpatine from the ground.
Your time is up, Palpatine.
Before the Sith Lord can react, Venom pounces on him, his jaws opening wide as he engulfs Palpatine in a torrent of black tendrils. The dark energy crackles as Venom devours Palpatine. The Sith Lord screams, echoing through the burning landscape. When he reaches Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, the two of them are staring back at him. Ahsoka runs up and embraces him.
Anakin, you came back for us. Thank you for not abandoning us.
I had thought you lost all those years ago. I still thought you were lost. I'm sorry.
Don't thank me. Thank Venom.
You're welcome.
Maybe that thing isn't a parasite after all, and there might be hope for you yet.
I've fallen far. Done things I could never undo. But maybe that means there's nowhere to go but up.
We'll be watching, Skagai.
This isn't over. Palpatine may be gone, but the Empire is still out there, and they will still fear the name Venom.
We'll do this together, as one.
As the three board their ship, they leave the remnants of the symbiotes behind. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.